Hey everyone, welcome to Build Series in New York City. I'm Lauren Moraski from HuffPost. So you probably know some of this year's biggest hits, In My Blood by Shawn Mendes and God's Plan by Drake. But what you might not have heard yet is the new strings-only version of these songs recorded by Vitamin String Quartet, a collective of classical musicians who have racked up millions of downloads and streams. The music is part of a long-running series of releases by CMH Label Group. So joining me now is brand manager Leo Flynn, along with musicians Derek Stein, Earl Manine, Amanda Lowe, and Lauren Baba. Guys, great to have you here today. Guys, we're in for a real treat today because not only are these folks joining us on stage, but afterwards they're going to be here for a lovely performance. And I heard the rehearsals, and it sounds awesome. So thanks again for coming by today.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so this is not just a regular string quartet because these guys aren't the folks you see every year and on every recording. This is sort of a rotating group, a cast of musicians, and really kind of your brainchild, Leo, right?
Well, not mine.
Well, not just yours, but you've been the brand manager for quite some time of this quartet. And I know that started in 1999, correct?
Yes. So VSQ started at a small record company in Los Angeles, CMH Label Group, as you mentioned. And I'm part of that CMH team. But back at that time, the CMH got excited about string quartets performing their favorite rock songs. And they started to concept albums and bring arrangers and players and producers together. And they put those albums out on an imprint called Vitamin Records. And it took early on and found a listenership and a great fan base, grew over time. And after a while, the whole effort became known as Vitamin String Quartet.
Cool. All right. So all of you here are super talented. I'd love to find out, just from each of you, to hear from each of you, how you all got involved. Let's start with you. Yeah.
Hi. Okay, so actually, Leo scouted us. So I'm in a different quartet called Seven Sons, and actually Amanda is also in this group. So we play stuff inspired by like hardcore punk and metal, like extreme music. And so we were doing a show at St. Vitus, which is a club in Greenpoint, and Leo had heard of us because we did stuff with this band called the Dillinger Escape Plan, and that kind of put us in their radar. Huh. So he came to a show at Vitus, and then talked to us afterwards and wanted to know if we wanted to like do a reading and kind of fly over to LA and like do some stuff. So apparently, I guess they like what they heard. I don't know. I'm here. What I'm doing. I'm just here.
You're here to tell the story.
And by the way, I'm not cool enough to know about anything like that. That was my colleague at CMH, James Curtis, our A&R director, who had the down low on you guys. So
he saw the talent. He saw the talent. And Amanda, was there any hesitation on your part to join up?
Not at all.
Not at all. I don't know.
Yeah, we met Leo after the show, and he talked to us about not even Vitamin. He was just talking to us about Seven Sons and what our motivations were. And I guess a few months later, maybe I got a phone call from Leo asking if I wanted to come to LA to do a reading, and he was doing it, so I said sure.
And he's doing it.
This is my fault.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're the reason. What about you, Derek?
I play in a group in LA called Wild Up, and it's kind of a modern music, kind of experimental chamber orchestra. I always kind of describe it as 80% chamber orchestra, 20% rock band. And we were about ready to play a concert, and our personnel manager at the time walked in and said, "Hey, I just got an email that the Vitamin String Quartet are looking for new string players." And I jumped on it immediately. And after some communication, I got an audition, and that was in 2012, and I've been the only cello player to do any live shows since then.
Very cool.
We love him.
Lots of love in this group. What about you, Lauren?
Let's see. It must have been about 2012 as well. I just moved up to LA to go to CalArts for their jazz program, and had heard that VSQ was doing readings and stuff, and so I was super excited because I'd been listening to them kind of since I was a kid. And then, just did the reading, the audition, and then from then on have kind of been this in and out moving part for the like since 2012. I think they're on the same time for some of their live stuff.
Very cool. So Leo, what is the magic of kind of having a rotating cast versus like one set of, 4 musicians or whatever it is?
It's VSQ started as this very collaborative thing, lots of ideas, lots of different projects going on, some simultaneous, and that seems in the DNA of it. It's just how we've done it so far. Sometimes it doesn't feel magical. Sometimes it's hard, and we're trying to figure ourselves out. But we really try to foster like a collaborative environment. We work on the music together. We bring these guys into it. We want to hear from them. We want them to leave their mark on it. And yeah, that's where the philosophy came from, and still with us. And who knows? We're just keeping at it that way, and we'll see what happens. See what takes shape.
Well, obviously something's working because it's been going on for 20 years, so almost 20 years. 20 years will be next year, so something that's working right. What do you think about the audience for something like that, for this kind of music? Because here you are, typical classical music, very talented musicians, but not typical classical music because you're reimagining the songs that we love from the radio and now from streaming, et cetera. What do you think it is about this that's really resonating with so many fans? Anyone can take this one.
I think that we've talked about this a lot with different fans and after different shows and the different press things that we've done. And the running theme for me is that we're bridging a gap between your traditional classical mindset and opening up the language a little bit, allowing for what people might consider just a traditional study, and expanding it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was going to say, I think when you strip the lyrics out, it adds a different dimension, or you just kind of like look at it at a different angle. Yeah. That you don't, lyrics are so monolithic. That's not really, that's not exactly what I mean, but you know what I mean. They're so like omnipresent that like when you take them out and then you just hear like the melody and you hear the moving parts, it's kind of an interesting angle to see things from. I think people resonate with that also.
Yeah, go on.
And I think it's also awesome because like with this new 2018 album, we'd perform stuff from that, but also from like way back. So it covers a really wide audience of a lot of different like generations and stuff. So it kind of reaches out to a lot of people, like on top of all this other stuff too. So it's kind of cool.
Sure.
I think that, just speaking from my own perspective, sometimes I'll hear a Vitamin String Quartet version of whatever the tune may be that I may not have heard the original, and I'll be like, oh, I really like that, and then I'll go and listen to the original and kind of discover something new.
Yeah, and it goes from there.
It happened for a lot of people who listen to Vitamin String Quartet and hear things like maybe whoever listens to this, hits of 2018 record may not have heard all the original tunes, and so they may hear this and then go discover that.
Right, it's part of the musical discovery that we're kind of experiencing these days, because we're not just discovering music from radio, et cetera. There's so many avenues, and this is one other avenue that you can hear that from.
We hope that we're bringing audiences together.
Yeah.
It's a really nice thought that when these guys perform, that there are classical music fans in there, along with rock music fans, and along with electronic music fans, and everybody's learning different things and experiencing different things and mixing it up and trying stuff. So that's all we're trying to do. So
I love that. I think because music does bring people together. So I love that. What about recording this album? How did you reimagine these songs and choose these songs? Because there are a lot of big hits from this year that you could have done.
Well, so here's part of the magic.
Yeah.
These guys, well, 3 of these guys were in sessions for a different project at the time that we were recording this one. So we actually there's a different group of VSQ players on this album. And these guys, some of them, most of them, 3 of them, were, everyone except Earl, were cooped up.
Earl's just too busy for us on that project.
Yeah. They were cooped up working on a super secret Bjork project.
Oh, what's it? Can you talk about the super secret Bjork project?
I feel like you just gave it away.
Did I say Bjork?
Secret.
Super secret.
Bjork.
Bjork
Project.
Not yet.
Okay.
No, it isn't. But we're working on some interpretations of her music, which is we all love, and it's great music.
Oh, that's exciting. That'll be really interesting to hear. That's for sure. So, all of you started, I'm imagining, how old were you when you got your start playing music? Very young? Little?
I was 4 years old.
4 years old.
5.
5. How old were you, Lauren?
9.
9.
I was 5.
You were like the old one. You got started
I was
late.
the old one. I was doing other
Now
music.
she's-
stuff,
That's why she
but-
plays viola.
Snap.
Hey yo! Yeah, you better run. Just kidding. Just
Did you?
kidding.
Could you
I
have
love Earl.
ever? A lot of us. I played clarinet. I wasn't very good, but would you ever imagine that you're making a living out of this at some point? When you're that
That was
young.
kind of the goal for me at a certain point. I was like, well, it's either this or nothing.
Yeah, it was just like a dream. I was like, okay, violin.
Yeah, I'm pretty stupid. I can't do anything else.
What about you? Amanda's like, I'm with him.
Yeah, he is.
Amazing, but it's a competitive. Do you feel like it's a competitive game out there for this time? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of nodding of the heads, right? They're like, yes, it's super competitive. There's a lot of people out there trying.
I mean, it's just like if you're trying to, be at a high level at any profession, there's competitiveness, and music is no different.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that any kind of like specialized profession that music is more competitive than any other kind of specialized profession. But that's the world. We knew at a certain point. We all kind of realized that's what we were getting into, and it didn't deter us from continuing to go for it.
Sure.
It's just that the money is a lot less for musicians as opposed to other
so like a
specialized
doctor
professions.
or engineer or astronaut, for
Yeah.
instance.
Or unpredictable too. Sometimes. Yeah, that's another thing.
These
And a lot of times they want us to work for free. So
These guys are a special bunch, though. Even among that very competitive scene, to do VSQ, you have to be an amazing musician on your stringed instrument, and not necessarily highly trained, but that's a very high bar to attain. And then you also have to rock and feel all this contemporary music.
Yeah.
And so it's really a rare breed that's able to do those things, and these guys are wonderful that way.
I'm sure a lot of fans will want to see the show go on the road in some capacity. I know you're playing a gig here in New York City at City Winery, right?
Correct. City Winery Loft
Loft,
tonight.
at the Loft area of that. So is there talk about maybe kind of taking this on the road down the line at some point?
Yes, there is talk. So we've been getting out and doing these single performances here and there for the last few years, and we're exploring about can we get VSQ out on the road and to some other cities. So we're looking at that right now, and hope to have good things happen.
Do you find that when you're meeting with fans or talking with people who love the group or just the VSQ in general, that you're inspiring young people to play and take up different instruments? Yeah, I'm seeing Lauren nod her head a little bit.
Yeah, like especially when you are teaching, I mean, you just see their faces light up and they're like, oh, and then there's that little spark of like, oh, if I just keep working, maybe I could do something, maybe not exactly that, but something similar in your dream world.
Yeah, yeah. And Leo, there's been some commercial success with some cool projects that you've teamed up with, right? With Gossip Girl and Westworld?
Sure, yeah. We have, from our album series, we've had a lot of success and just a great listenership and a fan base over the years. And our music has been put in great film and TV shows, Westworld, Modern Family, Shameless. We did make a brief appearance in Gossip Girl.
Nice.
And yeah, we've had a lot of fun experiences.
What is one of the songs that you all love to perform the most, kind of reimagined, or that you enjoy listening to from VSQ that maybe you didn't perform on? Who wants to start? Amanda?
Well, Earl was mentioning our group earlier. We play hardcore metal, so it's on the spectrum of string performance. It's probably on the far end, noisy, loud, full of rage.
You look so rageful.
So
Phil.
angry.
So full of rage. So for me, the favorite piece would probably be Everlong, which is a nice merging of the two groups. Like Vitamin's definitely more pop, more rock, a few hip hop tunes, sometimes super secret Bjork. um, but Everlong for me is a nice blending of the two, and Earl did the arrangement for that.
Cool. Earl, what would you say?
It's funny because I actually don't like the song itself, but I like.
Everlong?
No, but I kind of like what we do with "Feel It Still," the Portugal, the dude.
Portugal the man?
Yes.
The dude.
Yeah, the dude,
Let's
not
rename
the country.
Portugal.
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
I actually like the VSQ arrangement of it. It's the way, not necessarily that, but just the way we all sound together doing it.
That's funny. That's the thing you were describing happening within the group itself, like you making a different connection with a song through the string,
Right.
as opposed to the original.
As opposed to the original. That I
Yeah.
was, because I'm actually, like I said, I'm actually like I'm a hardcore kid, so like the truth is the bitter truth is actually a lot of these tunes I kind of actually don't like because I'm not like really like it's like this poppy crap for me. But but I will say that getting
Yeah.
into the VSQ stuff when it gets into the string quartet and then you hear it like I was saying in this different angle, you see it kind of like from a different like a prism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it ends up being kind of interesting.
That's cool. What about you, Derek?
I really, really enjoy the arrangement of God's Plan that we're playing today.
Nice.
I do too.
Nice.
And I hate Drake. I hate him.
He's everywhere this summer. You
He's
can't escape
ubiquitous.
him.
I know. He's just it's like this.
Lauren, do you have a fave?
Yeah, actually, our super secret album, the Bjork
Oh.
one. Can I say it? One of the songs on there?
Well, I
we-
think the cat's out of the bag. No.
You're right. Army of Me, because it's just like a complete rock out, like just super low end heavy, and it's so fun to play. Like that one, and then also like when we've read some of the like Sigaros, and I love Sigaros, and so any of those songs as well, and Everlong too. I mean, they're all fun because the guys are fun, and yeah.
Well, we can't wait to get your performance. But before we have some questions from the crowd here. So let's get right to it.
All right.
Who's first?
Hi. Just wanted to say I love your. Okay. Hi. Okay. Fine. I really love your renditions of like hits and stuff. Like it's really interesting to listen to in my free time. Also, just wondering what's your favorite genre that each of you play. Like your favorite genre.
You guys know I already said it. Like no, because
So we know Derek. Your heart, like
Earl's favorite's
yeah.
Drake.
Yeah.
I love Drake. Did I say that yet? I love Drake. He's one of the 10 softest guys in the game.
Yeah. so Earl. So
come back.
Earl's not. You're not Drake, but okay. So Amanda, where are you at?
It's a hard question to answer. I obviously grew up doing classical, and that's kind of where my heart is. But I mean, I love playing in bands and electronics and different kinds of stuff like that. So I guess I would have to say rock, maybe our group. Sometimes I love our group.
Sometimes.
I play in a quartet back in LA. We're called Narwhalaby. And it's a very rare instrumentation. It's clarinet, trombone, cello, and piano. And we play the most experimental modern music that I've ever experienced. And like that's kind of where my heart is.
My favorite, so I went to school for jazz and classical, and so I have a deep love for jazz and a lot of like creative improv music, avant-garde to everything, just improvisational and straight ahead jazz, and so that's where my heart is too.
All right. Well, thank you for that question.
Thank you.
And I know you're a musician yourself, Leo.
I have,
You
yeah.
have a
I'm oh gosh, I have lots. Radiohead, U2, and Charles Mingus,
Yeah.
Maurice Ravel.
He sings a mean U2. Karaoke night is pretty sick.
Uh-oh.
That's-
We might have to ask you to redo that for us. on
Come
stage.
find us later.
Okay. Oh, you'll be at the karaoke bar. I like it. Okay. All right. All right. Who's next in the crowd for a question?
Hi. So this might be like in the similar vein to the last question, but I'm just wondering if you guys have any guilty pleasure songs or just genres that you guys might want to share.
I feel like there are so many tunes that I've experienced growing up and being alive that I could point to and say, I really like that song, but I'm really embarrassed about it. And the one that just pops into my head right now is Barbie Girl by Aqua.
Hey.
It's good.
Actually, one that just popped into my head was is Ola Moore, Erasure. I love that song.
Yes, Erasure.
See,
Awesome.
Yeah.
let me think. So I grew up only being able to listen to Rush, and so my dad loves it, and now I've been to like every one of their concerts, so that's my, it's Rush.
That's not a guilty pleasure, though.
It's not, but I love Rush, so there you go. It's not a guilty pleasure, but anyways. Amanda?
Am I allowed to say crap?
Yes.
Okay.
You just did.
Well, they could leave it up. Basically, I have an affinity for really crappy dubstep music. Like I like to dance to it by myself.
By yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it.
I didn't know that about you. I've known you for years. Wow.
Leo, do you have a fave or a guilty pleasure?
I don't know if it's guilty. I really love Drake.
Uh-oh, we gonna have a war on stage here?
It's just gonna be later at the karaoke bar. Like,
No Drake.
He's gonna cue up some Drake, and you're gonna run out of the.
that's basically
joint.
what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that fun question. And thanks
Thank
for your
you.
fun answers. And stick around. The album's out now. Stick around for the performance. Give it up one more time for VSQ, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.